Hey everyone, Tech Steve here, and I was thinking the other day, it's been a long time since I've been to a movie theater. The fact is that a lot of us are now adding different types of products and creating our own home theaters. And the cool thing is that you can pause it whenever you need to go get a drink or anything like that. Now today, we're going to take a look at this right here. This is the new Aetherion Max. Now I'm not going to do all the unboxing, but I will tell you, it does come with a power cord. It comes with this cool remote control that I'll show you a little bit more about in a second, an instruction book, and a cleaning cloth. With that being said, let's talk about the performance of it, and you can see if it's the right thing for you and your family. Let's get into it. The first thing we'll talk about is the movie's performance on this Awol Vision Aetherion Projector. The first thing I noticed is how natural this projector looks, and it's because this projector can do up to 110% of the Rec 2020 gamma with vivid and lifelike hues. The native contrast is 6001, and I definitely could tell when watching some of these scenes, especially being in letterbox, that the black levels appear to be dark and not have that gray haze to it. And this Aetherion projector also supports true 24 frames per second and 48 frames per second playback, keeping the cinematic cadence exactly how the filmmaker intended. And I find it to be one of the sharpest projectors that I've ever reviewed on this channel after taking a look at it, and it's not by coincidence. And the reason is this projector uses sapphire glass with rare earth coatings. And you can see in this diagram the difference in how they coat their lens system versus some of the competitors. And when you watch movies, this projector has you covered because it supports HDR10, HDR10+, HLG picture profiles, as well as Dolby Vision, and it will support IMAX as well. With that being said, let's take a look at some of the different picture profiles so you can see it for yourself. In your SDR mode, you have features like your Vivid, you have standard mode for casual watching, sports mode, energy savings, PC gaming, theater, and filmmakers mode. But the interesting thing is when I tested this, there's just a slight difference between the theater mode and the filmmakers mode. And switching over to HDR, this is what it looks like in vivid mode, standard mode, sports mode, energy savings, and there's a HDR gaming mode as well. Plus there's a HDR theater mode, filmmakers mode. And when it's in HDR, you also get an option for IMAX, so you get that full cinema experience, especially with the metadata. And Dolby Vision has formats like your bright mode, your dark mode, and you can customize the picture to your particular likings. And this can come in handy because this projector does have a calibration mode to achieve a customized picture format that you prefer over the other ones. Wow, we got a chance to look at some movies on here, and one thing I can say is that if you're watching this online, you're never going to get the full experience as you would in your home. I do my best to try to record these videos to give you a kind of understanding how well these projectors perform, but this one is pretty amazing. Now let's take a look at sports, and one thing I noticed right off the bat is how smooth the action was. I didn't see any ghosting or trailing on the images, and the color reproduction is some of the best I've ever seen. If you look at the shadow details in the audience and the black levels on the logo below and how punchy the reds and the blues are, you'll get a rough idea of how good this projector would be when you're watching your favorite team. And let's take a look at the motion with some demos I filmed, starting with 24 frames per second. According to what I can see, the processor is doing a really good job smoothing out the image, even at 24 frames per second, to make sure that you're not going to get all that trailing that you do get on some of the less expensive processors. So overall, it looks very smooth. And switching over 60 frames per second, you can notice that the image gets much smoother, so it depends on the content that you're playing. This projector is going to do a great job making sure no matter what you put through it, that it's going to handle it just fine. And I also want to test it with the Spears and Muscles disc, and as you can see, this projector runs content smooth like butter. And for its upscaling, I think it did a really good job, especially with 480p content, which doesn't have a lot of resolution. But as we switch over to 720p, it definitely does show an improvement, and 1080p is just going to be that much better. Now 4K is going to be the native signal, and it's going to give you the absolutely best picture quality. Next, we're going to talk about gaming, but when it comes to gaming, there's something that you need to do with most products, including this one. Since the Aetherion Max does use the Google operating system, you have all these options for HDMI. What I'm going to recommend, just set all of these different HDMIs to automatic. That way you don't have to worry about it. And this will make it less confusing. Whenever you plug something into it, it can automatically detect it. Now, according to Awol Vision, this projector can go all the way down to 1 millisecond of input lag, which is extremely fast. And using the Xbox, it will support 4K at 120 Hertz. It also support 1440p at 120 Hertz, 1080p at 120 Hertz, and 720p at 60 Hertz. Let me clarify something. Even though this projector and a lot of other projectors will support 4K up to 120 Hertz, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will display it. The fact of the matter is that the processor and everything they're using to actually make these projectors will support it, but the limitations of the DLP that actually generates the light and the tricolors only can support 60 frames per second, and that's this one as well. So what that means is that you can get 120 Hertz into it, but it's only going to output 60 Hertz. So if you're wondering if the Aetherion Max will play any of these consoles well, the answer is yes. But now let's take a closer look of the design of it, because I showed y'all this footage, but you haven't got a chance to see it yet. We got to really take a look at how cool this new design is compared to the previous generations of the Awol Vision projectors. On the front of it, you can see that it has all these different angles to it, and it looks really cool. Plus there's an LED light in the front of it. It does have ventilation on the side of it for the cooling system, a power switch with a backlight on it, and it does have a USB that you can plug in your thumb drives. It has a RS-232 serial port so you can run it to your controllers. There's also an AV input so you can connect your old device, another USB, but check this out. It also has a display port, and you can use it on your computer to do all your workflows. You can do presentations, and it's very easy to connect to a computer. I just took an adapter that has a USB-C on one end and an HDMI, plugged it directly into my Mac, and then I could get up to 4K resolution using this port on this projector. It also has 3 HDMI 2.1 inputs, and one is eARC, so you can run it over to a soundbar. Now, of course, it does have Wi-Fi built in, but the LAN connection does support up to 1 gig of internet speed, plus there's an optical output. On the bottom of it, there's some screw holes so you can mount it to any stand that you like, including upside down. And with the adjustable screws, it's going to make it easier to line up to your projector screen. And this is the first time I've ever seen this. This projector actually has a dust cover that you can disable in the menu if you like, but this will keep the lens as clean as possible whenever you're not using it. And of course, it does have the eye protection sensors just in case something gets in the way of it. It'll turn off all the lighting system on it. And it comes with this cool remote control that has all your features such as AI adjustments. You can change your profiles. You also can use the voice remote control, and it has the free TV that connects to the Google interface. And at the bottom, you'll find hotkeys such as YouTube, Netflix, Prime Video, and Disney Plus. And it does have lights on it, but it doesn't show all the buttons on the controller. The last thing I want to do is show you guys some of the features that are in the menu system of this Awol Vision Aetherion Max. As I mentioned earlier, it is powered by Google TV, and I must say that the interface is extremely fast. You can get through all your applications and you won't see any type of lag. It doesn't have a TV tuner, but it does have the Google Live feature where you can stream content for free just by having Wi-Fi connected to it. And with the robust Google App Store, there's plenty of applications, so the chances are is that you'll find an application that you use on your other devices. And this operating system does support Google Gemini, which is a new AI feature, so you can search for different content, and you can set up different voices so you can customize it and fine-tune it the way that you like. But the question is, what can it do?
Gemini on Google TV acts as an AI conversational assistant, enhancing your entertainment experience.
Good afternoon and welcome to the news brief.
And you know how you can normally add your family pictures to the Google operating system for slideshows, but now you can generate your own images in AI so you can actually have some cool wall art that displays whenever you're not using the television. The Aetherion Max also has other features in it, such as being able to set up your keystone so you can match it to the screen or the wall that you're using it on. You can also adjust it as far as the different mounting positions. And it has a focusing system so you can get the cleanest and the sharpest corners on your projector screen that you're using. And if you want to get the best results out of this projector, you want to make sure you set up the screen style that you're using so the projector can optimize itself for the cleanest results. And it has other features such as multi-view, so you can play your gaming console while doing something else at the same time. It also supports Apple AirPlay and HomeKit, so you can set it up to your Apple ecosystem. And being that it's Google, you can still do your screencasting as well. It's running off version 14 operating system. And check this out, it has 114 gigabytes of internal memory, so you can store plenty of applications on it. And this Awol Vision Aetherion Max will support 3D movies if you buy the 3D glasses, which are sold separately. The last thing I want to mention is the screen I used on this video is an Awol Vision Cinema ALR screen, and it's 100 inches, but you can get it up to 150 inches. And one of the great things about the Aetherion Max is that it will support up to 200 inches, and you can get that in some other models that Awol has to offer out there. Now, I will say that when it comes to color reproduction, this one actually looks really good, and I was very satisfied with it, but it will require a darker room to be able to get the full experience. But if you have a room with a lot of lights, Awol Vision does offer a daylight screen as well. But when it comes to light in general, the darker the room is, the better the projector looks. So in my experience, I think this is a great projector, especially if you're looking to get a larger screen and if you want to create a movie room at home or just put it in your living room. I think it's going to work out just fine for people who can reach the criteria of having less light in that room. That's all I got on this video. And if you have any questions, make sure you leave it in the description below, and also check out the link below because you can pre-order this projector right now. I'm Tech Steve. Thanks all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.